Get up and brush off the dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Cut it and roll that dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Set up, they about to come through on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Let's get out the way. Here comes first play. Let's maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What's going on, everybody? This is Adam Kershane sitting alongside Brian Laurent, and you are here for another episode of Turf Today, recorded on the Superintendent Network and brought to you by Toro. This week, we're joined by Nick Roth, who's the Director of Greens and Grounds at the Tree Farm in South Carolina. And Nick was employee number one at the club and has been there every step of the way, from the raw land and construction to the grow-in and now daily conditioning of one of the most talked about golf courses in the country. He's got a great story and a sharp mind for turf and a front row seat to one of golf's boldest new visions. Let's get into this thing. When the sun rises over a golf course that's still wrapped in morning dew, Toro is already there, helping you craft every cut, every roll, and every perfect green. For over a century, Toro has stood beside those who shape the game from the ground up. This isn't just equipment, it's a partner in the pursuit of excellence. From the first pass to the final mow, Toro delivers precision, reliability, and the power to inspire. Always solving. Always evolving.
Did you get out to the course this morning?
Yes, sir. Yep. Busy week. I feel tired today. Didn't really get a nap in this week, so I usually try and sneak one in maybe Wednesday or Thursday or something like that, but it didn't happen this week, so I was dragging my ass around the course today, but
Yeah.
it's good to be out there.
You getting to catch any of the Open Championship action?
Well, they didn't put any coverage on TV here in Canada for the first 2 days, so we haven't really been seeing much.
Really?
They replayed it last night at 7 o'clock, so I don't know if they just figure everyone's home from work, we'll replay it, but I mean, everyone's been watching all day and seeing highlights and checking the scores and stuff, so it starts at 7 a.m. tomorrow, so we'll be able to watch it all here. I think the lesson here is, I work in golf, I work in the golf industry, I should probably have the golf channel, because that would have just solved the problem, right away, so...
Is that who would broadcast it up there? Because here it's USA, I think, is
Okay.
they start on USA at like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, is when coverage starts. So
That's crazy.
back in the day,
So
I
you
used
can
to wake up and watch it. but
Wow, that's cool. I love
not
that.
anymore.
No, it's tough to do now, but that's great that you have the option. It's
Yeah.
the thing that everybody wants to watch. And I was just thinking yesterday, it's like this is what everybody should be doing right now. Rory's playing. He teed off at 10 o'clock here, so why aren't we watching that,
Yeah. Well, you got to get some work done every now and then, right?
Every now and then, yeah, absolutely.
August is going to be nuts. Got two big events in August. Big event the first week of September. So those are going to be, we got some big stuff in the works for sure.
Yeah, August is kind of like Super Bowl time, right? For most people, club championships, big events, things like that. It's hot, which doesn't help.
Yeah. It's going to be brutal. That's BMW is going to be challenging, I feel, for Kyle and the team at Caves. I mean, hosting the second to last playoff event, the BMW in the Mid-Atlantic. I mean, that's just it's going to be a steamer. And then they go right to Atlanta right after
Right to
that.
Atlanta, yeah.
It's like, I feel bad for obviously the teams taking care of the courses, but for the tour players that are having to walk 18 holes in 100 plus degrees and high humidity, like, yeah.
It seems like it's getting hotter every year too. Every summer, it's like, geez, it's hotter and hotter. But
Yeah,
I don't know. We complain how cold it is in the winter, right? And how tough it is in the winter. And then it gets the summer, it's like, oh, it's so hot.
I know. Yeah, never happy. That's why you move to Northern California where it's 70 every day.
Which is nice
Move
every
to
day.
the coast.
Golf weather all the time. Yeah, no, it's not I was talking to somebody about that the other day. It's kind of cool where we live. I don't know if it's very similar for you, but we feel all four seasons like as hard as you possibly can. We get very wet springs, hot,
Yeah.
hot summers, a beautiful, beautiful fall, and then our winters we can get dumped on and ice and everything. So we just
Yeah.
really, really big mix of all four seasons here.
Yeah, we probably don't get the extremes as much as you, but we tend to go from winter straight into summer. So it's like come March, or well, we definitely get wet, but it always feels like it's cold right up until mid-May, end of May, and then it just all of a sudden the switch flips and we're upper 80s, high humidity and all that kind of stuff. It just feels like we always skip spring, at least from a weather standpoint or a temperature standpoint. We get all the rains, but then falls here are phenomenal. My favorite time of the year for sure.
Hmm.
Leaves changing colors, football's on, nice cool days, nights, mornings, all that fun stuff. It's perfect.
Probably the best time of year to play golf too,
100%.
other than the leaves.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than, hey, you know what? I don't mind the leaf roll though. That's
No, that's
advantageous
true.
to my golf game.
Yeah, and you get to see the odd video of a guy going out with a leaf blower. It's always
Yeah.
fun.
That's it, man. That's it. You ready for today's guest?
Yeah, I'm excited.
New golf course, very, a lot of media notoriety, media attention, just because of Zach Blair, plays on tour, big architecture junkie. He had the whole book club going on forever. And, he was going to build his dream course in Utah or whatever. And then ended up getting a site there in, I think it's South Carolina. And yeah, and then they started going to town. So it's been heavily publicized. Zach's been posting about it on all his social media accounts for years and years and years, and finally came to fruition. And Nick got to kind of see it all in action. So can't wait to talk to him about it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And we've talked to people that have worked construction and things like that, but actually seeing a full process to beginning to end. I don't know if we've talked about that on the show. Certainly,
Yeah.
renovations and restorations and things like that, but be interesting to know, some of the decisions and some of the different things they decided to use.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny when I get some of my analytics reports for my website to this day, the top link that gets traction on my website is when they posted an assistant superintendent job, because people will just go on to Google and look up tree farm. And it's one of the few things that they can find online about it just
Yeah.
through a Google search. So I get like thousands of clicks to the, second assistant superintendent posting from 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
to this day. It's nuts. It's nuts.
That's really cool. So have you been out there to see it?
Not yet. Not
Not yet.
yet.
It's on the list.
No. I've had, yeah, it's on the list. I've had a couple opportunities, just wasn't able to fit it in the schedule. Nick's nice enough to, host some of his partners and stuff down there, I think on an annual basis, people that help him out. And I've gotten the invitation the last couple of years, and it's just, I think it's usually like the Monday of the US Open. So it's just tough to sneak away the
Yeah, it's a
last
tough
couple
one.
years. So there will be a special trip sometime down the road. Hopefully maybe this fall, get down there and check it out. I've heard nothing but amazing things about the property. So can't wait to set foot on the ground.
Yeah, South Carolina in the winter. It's nice as well. I lived
Yeah.
in Greenville. That was a nice
Oh
spot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still a little chilly, I think, for me at least. I'm very picky. It needs to be somewhere between 55 when it's sunny to, 75. That's ideal for me. I can handle that.
Right in the
They still
slot.
get some cool, they still get some cool winters.
Yeah, oh, definitely, definitely. I like that weather where you can kind of wear a hoodie in the morning, and then
Yeah.
after lunch you take it off and you got your shirt, your shorts and
Yeah.
t-shirt, and then at night you throw the hoodie back on.
Yeah.
I find that comfortable. When you're
I
just hot and sticky
yeah.
all day or you're cold all day, it's just like it
Yeah, it's
sucks.
miserable. No, I could hang with the hoodie all day, man. Just hoodie and jeans all day, or hoodie and khakis or whatever out on the golf course. That's that's right up my alley.
Yeah, I feel you. Nick, what's going on, buddy?
There we go. Now
Yeah.
we're in.
You're going high tech. Do you connect Bluetooth with your DJI speaker there?
I got her plugged into my laptop right now. Yeah. I was like, I
Nicely
got this
done.
doing a bunch of stuff. I was like, might as well use it.
Absolutely, man. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great, great. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you taking some time here during the midst of summer and all the projects I'm sure you guys have going on this summer.
Yeah, we are slammed for, we got probably another 2.5 weeks here to grind it out, and then it's kind of just getting detail work ready for opening back up.
What are you guys hammering out now? Just all cultural practices?
So pretty much all of our cultural stuff is in the summertime. So, like on fairways, we're around 60 tons an acre. We got 74 acres of short grass. So we just put out about 2,200 tons over the last 2 days, which
Wow.
was pretty awesome to see. So had a contractor in helping us out, mixing with our staff. Obviously airifying greens, fairways, a lot of verticutting. And then we got a bunch of capital projects that we do in the summertime too. So we got about 4.9 miles of drainage going in. They'll be done next week. And then putting an artificial range strip on the range tee, did a little retaining wall behind it, and then some like miscellaneous stormwater drainage stuff, just tying up some site work from clubhouse construction.
Nice. You guys are going hard right now. I like it. Well,
When you get 12 weeks, you got to make the most of it.
absolutely. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today. Brian and I were just talking about yourself, about the course and the big project and everything. So we're really interested to dig into all that and your career. But before we get into that, I'd love for you to go back and just kind of give us a little brief overview of yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, kind of Midwest through and through. Family's kind of always been around there. They're all still there. My wife's family lives 10 minutes from my parents, so it's kind of perfect for holidays and so forth, and go back and see them all. But yeah, I grew up just playing sports and just in kind of any sort of athletics, basically. So played baseball a lot, figured out I wasn't going to be a professional baseball player and I wanted to be outside. So started working on a golf course, played high school golf, really just kind of fell in love with it and then figured out like it could be a real career. So yeah, first club I ever worked at was Avon Oaks Country Club in Avon, Ohio, about 15 minutes from my parents' house. Terry Bames, first superintendent I worked for, I think my first day I was like hauling logs to a wood chipper. It was cold,
Day
freezing
one.
cold, I remember. Yeah, day one, I was like, man, I don't know if I like this. But then it was early, it was like, February or something. And but then once golf season started and got to cut cups and get experience doing a bunch of stuff was pretty cool. So really enjoyed that. And then kind of made the decision to do it actually as a career. And so I went and I did like an alternative route. I think I'm a good example of like a non-traditional schooling method where I kind of went and did an internship and did kind of schooling online at the same time. So I just did the Ohio State Turf Grass Certificate program. And I went to Fox Chapel and did my internship in 2012. We had the Senior Players Constellation Energy Championship that year. So that was the first year they were hosting it. So it's kind of a, learning opportunity for the club, kind of right across the bridge from Oakmont, Pittsburgh's a great golf town. That's a historic Seth Rayner golf course. So it's just cool. I didn't really have a lot of architecture experience at that point, and that kind of opened my eyes to like what a really good golf course is from an architecture side. Kind of piqued my interest in that side of things. So, worked for Jason Hurwitz there for 6, 7 months and worked with a bunch of good guys, still friends with today that have all moved on to be superintendents. So yeah, that was an awesome experience and got to get a taste of like what high level golf was because kind of where I came from and what I'd been exposed to wasn't really like that. So yeah, that was interesting. And then kind of made the decision to come back home. You're 18, young and dumb, and probably should have just stayed at Fox Chapel and just worked for Jason for a while. But um, when you're 18, 19 years old, you don't know better. So moved back and went to work at Sandridge Golf Club on the east side of Cleveland, which is funny just because of the amount of people that have gone through that place is pretty
It's a
comical. And
factory for superintendents.
yeah, I mean, from Zimmer starting it and then Roney and, just the list goes down the line. Yeah, and then I worked there for a while and then ended up going to Elyria Country Club in Elyria, Ohio. Really cool old William Flynn golf course. And that was a cool experience. Kind of came in right as a lead assistant left and went down the TPC River Highlands, I believe, in Cincinnati. So kind of got thrown right into the mix and got given a lot of leash, a lot of responsibility. Um, Pat. Pat's a great superintendent. He's been there for a long time. Frank Fack, who'd been there for like 5,000 years, is still there as the horticulturist, and he's like, yeah, I think he's like actually 85 years old. But between those two, wealth of knowledge, not just of the property but of turf. So that was great to work for them, and that kind of fell in love once again with architecture. Got to see some really cool stuff that Flynn did there, and kind of got my first construction experience at the same time. So then that's when I first met Kai Golby, and Kai redid our bunkers in the same project. We kind of squared up tees and did a lot of tree work and a lot of that stuff in-house. Basically, we had guys come in and do drainage and bunkers, but I got to kind of work every day with Kai, and we joke around that at one point they had filled the bunkers up with this muck that they mucked out of a pond they built. So all the bunkers, instead of being, really deep, had now been shallowed, and he was just excavating this just silty muck out of them. So my job was driving the tractor and the trailer with the muck, and we didn't have a lot of staff or resources, so it was just me and Kai working till dark every day, just hanging out, and got to see his talent and the way that guy's brain works. And so that was awesome. Built a really good relationship with him from that. Learned a ton. Yeah, I was there for about 3.5 years, and then, once again, young, eager, dumb, and moved on to a superintendent position in Northwest Ohio. That, wasn't the right opportunity. Kind of hindsight's always 2020, but figured out after a year it just wasn't going to be a good fit, and kind of started reaching out to some people that I knew and sales reps, friends, kind of what positions would be open. And that's when I got in touch with Phil at Oakland Hills, and he had just gotten there a year previous, and kind of was looking to rebuild staff with kind of his own guys and start fresh. So fortunate to come into an organization like Oakland Hills and step right into a North Course superintendent position, which is super rare. Usually that's just a promotion from within. So really great opportunity to go work for Phil. And then also with the project on the horizon, we were, a year out from that when I started. So I got there in March of 2019, I believe, and it was snowing, doing tree work, and same thing, thrown right into the mix, and got to work with a bunch of great guys there. Chewy, Taylor Gray, um, Seth Mechanic, probably one of the best in the business. So, it's not always just working for one guy, but it's a lot of great guys you work with at the same time. And obviously Phil's a great mentor. And then, yeah, so I was there for about 3 years, and then left in August of 2021 and came down to the tree farm. Funny thing about the project Oakland Hills is Kai ran it for Gil. So I got to hang out with Kai again for 9 months or so. He was there on site every day. And, once again, kind of got bit by the construction bug and really enjoyed that. So when I heard he got a tree farm, we kind of got in touch. Phil gave me the nudge, and just things kind of fell into place from there. Came and visited down here in so right after the Masters in 2021, and just drove the site in a Polaris with Kai and Zach and a couple of our founding members, and it was nothing but trees with a PVC pole at the green, at the landing zone, and at the tee. And I mean, we were bahaing through the woods in this 6-seater like way too fast, and I was like, just the Wild West out here. But
Who was driving?
Zach.
Okay.
I hope you are enjoying another episode of Turf Today. Hi, I'm Matt Pauli with Standard Golf Company, and we are a proud supporter of Turf Today and golf course superintendents around the world. Standard Golf is the leading manufacturer of golf course accessories, such as cups, flags, flag sticks, tee markers, bunker rates, driving range equipment, and all the maintenance tools you need to maintain a beautiful golf course. From tee to green and everything in between, Standard Golf is your premier accessories and maintenance tool provider. And now, back to your episode of Turf Today.
I never really had aspirations to grow Bermuda grass ever. It was never really in my goals, but I really like the construction, really love architecture, really have a great relationship with Kai. And, I just wanted to build something cool, and no one ever gets the opportunity to build a new golf course and build a new maintenance facility and build a staff from nothing. You can come into places and try and fix problems and say you're starting fresh, but this was a real opportunity to do it. So yeah, I got here the week we started clearing trees in 2021, and the rest has been history.
That's awesome. So we'll dig into the tree farm here in a little bit, but I want to go back to when you took that job in Northwest Ohio. And I remember, meeting you there. There were all sorts of aspirations with a new owner and all that. What's the process of coming to that realization that, okay, things aren't going to happen that I was told are going to happen, and it's time to move on?
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall, and I kind of figured it out, that it wasn't going to go the direction that it had kind of been hoped and promised. So, in my mind, I was at a crossroads of my career where I needed to go find a mentor and get like a good network of someone to work for, because, making some lateral move wasn't going to be beneficial for me long term. So, um, could have took an easy route and stayed in Ohio or local, but I knew that I had to get someone that could mentor me. I was strong agronomically, but I would say I still had quite a bit of weaknesses throughout my skill set. So really looking for a guy like Phil in an organization like that. I'd never been to a 36 hole property before, so that was a big thing for me to learn kind of a larger scale operation, larger staff, more staff management. So yeah, it was really just kind of getting my navigational beak and kind of set in the right direction to set myself up for success in the future. And I just knew I had to find a good mentor to do that. I wasn't going to do it on my own.
Did you come to a point where you were kind of feeling comfortable, like, okay, now I'm sort of ready to become a superintendent or sort of take that next step?
I don't know if you're ever ready. It's kind of what I tell my guys is like, there's never going to be a day where you come into work and you're like, I'm ready to be a superintendent, because the next day is going to throw you a curveball. And I mean, to this day, I'll tell you, I don't know everything, and I learn something new at work every single day. So I think that, we always kind of had a saying at Oakland Hills, like, you got to play scared. Like, there's no doubt when I came down to South Carolina, never grown Bermuda grass and was growing in a golf course, like, there was no doubt I was scared, but I had no doubt in my mind that I could be successful, because at the end of the day, you're going to figure it out. You put your mind to something, you're going to figure it out. But um, yeah, I don't know if you're ever ready. I think you just got to dive in sometimes and, figure out how to swim in the deep end.
It's a
So
great answer.
did playing scared have anything to do with getting on the wrong side of Phil?
It could be. Yeah.
He is an
It's so
intimidating
funny.
guy.
We talked to some of the guys that have gone through that, that network and have worked with Phil, and we hear some of these stories of getting on the wrong side of him. Like, I've never seen that side of Phil. It's like, I'm lucky enough I get to see him, when he's happy and in social settings. It's like I've never heard him lose it on anybody.
No, I mean, yeah, I've seen it. I was fortunate. I didn't take much wrath from him, but I listened to directions well.
Nice.
So talk about the differences between a renovation versus a new build. Was there any similarities or just totally different?
I think there's a lot of parallels you take away, but at the end of the day, it's so different. You go from Oakland Hills, which was as big of a renovation basically as you can do. I mean, you blew up every piece of infrastructure, essentially, every bit of grass, except for, some exterior rough. But I mean, we regrassed basically the whole golf course. But the difference with a new build is you're ripping out trees, you're trying to clean soil so you don't have tree roots. You're trying to fight erosion. You have 250 acres of bare soil out there, and then you get a 3-inch thunderstorm, and it just causes absolute nightmares, sleepless nights. So that I think is the biggest thing, is like, you just have no stabilization on a new build. It's just like wide open, and you're just completely at the mercy of Mother Nature. You could do everything right that you think is right or should be right, and if you get just clipped by the wrong storm, it's gonna wipe it out. I mean, we probably built the tree farm 3 times over because of thunderstorms. I mean, and there was nothing you could have done. I mean, you could put 100 miles of silt fence out there and the water still needs to go somewhere. It's ripping downhill, and yeah, just severe topography and open soil was like, I'd say the biggest thing. But the parallels are, dealing with contractors, things like, drainage, like the amount of drainage we put in at Oakland Hills, and kind of seeing how some things we did there with 2-inch drainage operated and how it functioned. And it was really successful for us. So we've implemented that here. Um, yeah, there's parallels, but like I said, it's extremely different at the same time.
Really interested to know how you decide on things like, different types of seed, different types of sand. What do we do with the bunkers? What do you do with drainage? Like, how do you make those decisions? And ultimately, at the end of the day, whose decision is that?
Yeah, I was, fortunate since I was employee number one basically, and got to be the first one here on site. I got to make most of those decisions. Um, when it came to things like greens mix, we had a goal in mind, wanted to be firm and fast and wanted to be able to dry out quick. So we did a lot of testing with Profile and our local distributor and with Tifton Labs. So got on that really early. I mean, I was doing that before I was even out of Detroit. So we wanted to make sure we had kind of our ducks in a row. Same thing with like big thing for us was like equipment. It was fresh out of COVID in 2021 and huge wait times for equipment. So we knew we needed to get our, equipment ordered way, way ahead of time. So it was fake flying from Michigan down here to get all that stuff lined up. And, we just flipped our lease and got new stuff, which is crazy because I feel like we're still a new golf course. But, um, the first iteration of equipment was all based off like what we thought we needed. And didn't really have a plan of like what was going to be out there on the golf course, how much short grass, like kind of had an idea, but if you looked at the original drawings versus what's out there, it's not even close. So it's just this kind of lease we've been able to really dial into like what we really need versus what we thought we need. So become significantly more efficient in that aspect. And then to the point of grassing and like bunker sand, a lot of that was I spent a ton of time from August to January just doing site visits at sod farms, different clubs, especially guys who'd done construction. Went over to Champions Retreat, Ohoopee, Congaree, and just kind of pick these guys' brains on what worked for them, what their grasses were. Same thing with the sod farms, going to see products, how much acreage they have, what's available, making sure we'd be able to lock these things in for the project. So there's just a lot of homework in the beginning, along with the tree clearing operation. But yeah, I was fortunate to just be here early enough to do all that.
So talk about that transition for you then, coming from cool season turf and now basically having to learn a whole new style with warm season, and then not just managing warm season, but sodding, sprigging, all whatever you guys had to do and getting that course up and running.
Yeah. Yeah, I always joke because like people will call me. We have Tahoma short grass on everything besides greens or Tiff Eagle. And guys will call me, be like, "How do you like the Tahoma?" I'm like, "I love it. It's the only Bermuda grass I've ever managed." That's all. That's all I know. But I think it was beneficial for me kind of coming down here and like choosing a grass was like I could come into it with no preconceived notions and a blank slate and like go talk to people in the field, go see sod farms and see what like I thought looked good, what worked for people, pros and cons of things. So I think it was good that I came in with a blank slate and was able to make a decision, and it's been great. We loved the grass selections that we went with. Um, so yeah, the transition is it's not as hard. I think it'd be a lot harder for a guy that only has done Bermuda grass to go north or go mid-Atlantic and grow bent grass in that environment. It's just a totally different regiment to what goes on down here. The biggest changes that I encountered down here was obviously the cultivation is significantly more on Bermuda grass. So with verticutting, aerifying, um, I've got one of our interns is Jack Judge. He used to work with him at Oakland Hills. So great kid. Never worked on Bermuda grass. So he's down here and his mind is like blown by what we're doing to this stuff. It's like if you did this stuff to bent grass, it'd probably die the next day. You're scalping it, verticutting it, burying sand, repeat, 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 and it doesn't stop for 12 weeks. So, figuring that out was interesting, even when you're laying sod and you're scalping the crap out of it, and you're like, is this gonna live? Or, we'd have thunderstorms and it'd wash away a fairway and you'd have to redo the whole thing, but you already had 6 trucks of big roll sod and it sat rolled up for 5 days. And I mean, we sodded 2 and 3 fairway and the sod was like yellow. I mean, and I was like, there's no shot this lives. Not one piece died.
That's
So
awesome.
figuring that stuff out, like this stuff's pretty resilient. You can do a lot to it. It doesn't want to die. It wants to live, especially when it's hot. It loves the heat. The biggest thing I think transition wise for me was kind of the herbicides. I'm used to what we did in the Midwest and up north where you're doing a celloprint dimension one time and you're done for the year, no more. And down here, you're putting out a pre-emergent every, 60 to 90 days, 45 to 90 days, depending on what you're putting out. So it's like you finish it once and you're already thinking about what's next and when am I doing it? And it's already on you before you know it. So that for sure, you're using chemistries that we don't use up north typically. So that's definitely the biggest transition.
Did you put Jack out on loan for a few days? I think I'm going to see him here on Monday.
Yep. Yeah, he's going. He's doing a split internship, so he's got a week with Zach from the USGA next week. So yeah, we're gonna lend him to you guys.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm going to go out there with Zach and do some stuff out at Scioto next week. So he mentioned
Nice.
Jack was going to be tag along.
Yeah,
Very
he's got a
cool.
good lineup next week. Happy for him.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a challenge there. Were there any huge challenges you guys went through with the construction or any big surprises out there?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the storm, we had a horrible summer for growing. I mean, it was just relentless storms. That was by far the biggest challenge, I would say, but the kind of domino effect of that was just the lack of manpower we had from a contractor side on the construction side of things. We had Liebold Irrigation, which is they're the best in the business and never had to worry about them. But from a golf construction side, we were just a little light-handed, so it was tough when you put things together that wash out, you try and fix it, but you're still trying to make progress on draining greens and draining bunkers and moving forward. So that was kind of the biggest thing for us was we always just felt like we didn't quite have enough people doing everything, but I'd say we're a good case study for being able to build a golf course with about 20 some people
Oh,
and
jeez.
it worked. So I always laugh when I hear these projects where it's like contractors have 100 people on site. I'm like, what are 100 people possibly doing on a golf course construction site? There's no way they're being efficient. I can tell you we had 20 some people and they were being very as efficient as possible.
So what were you looking for? You built a team from the ground up. What were you looking for when it came to building the people around you?
I think we wanted a bunch of like-minded individuals that really like love golf. We're in a unique area where, even for interns, it's the attracting people here is very difficult because there's nothing glamorous necessarily about our locale. These kids they really like going towards the beach or they like the mountains and because that's an attraction and I get that. That's people's priority. But to come here, you really got to love golf because there's just not a lot of extracurriculars. So the people we've brought in all really love golf and they love playing golf, they love working, and they love being part of a team. So we've assembled a really, really good team. I mean, even from the get-go, one of our interns from construction is, our lead assistant now, and he's been here since he graduated. And so it's cool to see him grow from being an intern to, what he is now. It's been fun to see people grow like that. We had an assistant move on to be a superintendent this past March. He worked here for 2 years and moved on to a local club. So yeah, I think that just shows that, the system we have works and you buy into what we do here and, you can go and be successful at your own place.
Have you had to adapt or change your management style with the course opening to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a culture shock when you go from like not seeing anyone out there to there's golf. I mean, we do that in the summertime. I mean, when there's no golf in the summertime, it's heaven out there. It's like quiet, no one out there but us. and you can drive wherever you want. You're not worried about interrupting someone's tee shot or putting. And then all of a sudden it's September 4th and you're like creeping around corners now,
They're
making sure
back.
you're not, yeah, they're back again. So yeah, your mindset kind of like flips once the summer comes and it's just kind of this go, go, go. And but yeah, coming out of construction was definitely like that. It was like, all right, we got to pump the brakes on, ripping and tearing and making messes and start cleaning messes up. And we kind of do that in the summer too. It's, June, July is, destroy everything. August is we're gonna go put the bunkers back together we haven't touched for 9 weeks, and we're gonna go work in the native areas and clean those up and just detail work. So yeah, it's a kind of a tale of two seasons with the way we operate, and then you kind of get more into like the monotony of just maintaining after we open back up.
So you mentioned earlier some of the ongoing projects, Nick, drainage and other capital and infrastructure projects. Talk about the evaluation process. Obviously, you guys are a new golf course, but you're still kind of tearing into it. Talk about that evaluation process of identifying, okay, this needs addressed because of XYZ.
Yeah, I think a lot of it actually goes back to, what I was saying in our challenges were with, staffing and the weather. We put in a lot of drainage, but what we saw was we were getting just so much rain and then not being able to grass it fast enough that a lot of the perforated drainage we put in was compromised from a standpoint of the pipe was fine, the gravel was fine, but the sand mix we had put on top of these drain lines was now silted over, so it's not getting in. So probably a good thing we've done it this way and didn't spend a bunch of time and money during the project to do all this drainage, because the product we're getting now is really good. It's just a little more invasive of, lifting and laying sod. But yeah, just evaluating every year. We have a master drainage list of things we're going to attack and what we see that's, wet. And any golf course, it seems like it's kind of ever changing as you do drainage. Now things are dry and things that didn't seem wet are wet because you've dried up all the wet areas. So I mean, we've done 15 miles of 2-inch pipe in the last 3 years. So we're just plugging away at it. And, the little things like, the range tee, for example, we did that because, we don't overseed. So we needed to keep people from hitting off the dormant Bermuda grass in the wintertime because this past year, we tore up the tee pretty good in the winter. And then, now we're right in the March, April, we're Masters week. It's our busiest, time of the year for guest play. And we were struggling to get the range tee back open. We're working in the back, and then we were trying to grow grass in the front. And the temperatures are not cooperating for Bermuda grass in March and April. So, we deployed some alternative methods. We busted out some greens covers and covered them for a couple weeks and stimulated some growth. And yeah, the pro shop guys thought I was a magician. They thought I was crazy putting tarps out there. They're like, what is this guy doing? Yeah, it worked. We grew some grass, and so, but that's why we're putting in the artificial tee and doing brick pavers behind it so they can kind of get a setup going. So yeah, we kind of always are thinking of things to improve. I think anytime you build something new, whether it's a building or a golf course or whatever it is, you think about things, how it can be improved or better, whether it's adding a bunker or changing a bunker or changing a grass line. We've done quite a bit of that in the first, 3 years, which you would think a new golf course doesn't do that. But I think to stay relevant and to stay good, and, when you see people play golf and how the ball actually reacts to things and where people are actually hitting their balls and what types of lines they're playing off tees, you kind of get a better feel instead of, you always think until you see it. So there's been plenty of changes like that. And I think, any good golf course is kind of always tweaking and messing around with it.
Golfers don't have any suggestions either, right?
Everyone's got an opinion.
Every day, probably out there. That's just part of working on the course, though, right? Par for the course, as they say.
Yeah, pretty much.
So being a part of something like this is pretty cool. It's just probably got to be pretty close to your heart. What does the tree farm mean to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot, not only just the property, just being here from the beginning and, looking back at photos and just thinking like, can't believe that's what it started as, but just the people, the amount of time I've spent here with these guys, is just crazy. I mean, you're around these guys more than you're around your family, your wives. So yeah, it means a lot. I try not to think about it too much. It'll probably make me emotional if I think about it, but just the people in general. I mean, all the way to the top to our GM and our pro staff, everyone here has put in a lot of work. So it should mean a lot to all of them.
So what did you know about the tree farm? Obviously, Zach had a very high profile online and the Buck Club and all that. And then this was kind of his foray in the golf course architecture and, some way, shape, or form. What did you know about it going into it? Were you familiar with Zach and kind of his vision?
Yeah, I followed Zach, casually. So had kind of known about the Buck Club and all this stuff. And then kind of when he bought this property, the vision kind of changed from it being, the Buck Club to the tree farm. So yeah, I knew about it. And then kind of got filled in more when I was here on site and kind of got the true vision of, what it actually was going to be with, overnight accommodations. And, it's really it's a member guest type club where every day it's a member and 3 guests or a member and 7 guests. So that was intriguing to me. The golf only thing was huge. Like this is the coolest place I've ever worked because it's just golf. There's nothing else. Like we don't have tennis or a pool or, flower beds or any, other extracurriculars. It's just the focus is golf, which is cool because, you know, it's cool because it lights a fire under us, our staff. Like you're always in the limelight because, our competition is like we're trying to be better than the culinary staff. Like I don't want them talking about the food. I want them talking about the golf course, so that was a huge draw to me was just to work at a golf facility where the main focus is golf, good golf, golf architecture. I knew Zach loved golf architecture. The guy goes and plays a tournament and instead of playing practice rounds, he goes and plays, the 3 coolest golf courses in that city. And that's just who he is. And, I thought that was really cool. And so, yeah, that was kind of the big draw for me.
So along those lines, was there any additional pressure knowing kind of the profile that Zach had and the following he had online from golf junkies, knowing that he's probably going to be out here taking pictures of this thing in progress during the entire time?
It never really bothered me. I think it was really cool what he did. If you look back, he posted basically like live reports of building the tree farm, so it was like you could kind of be a part of the tree farm, like kind of vicariously through his Instagram. And I don't know if anyone's ever done that with golf construction to where you could really be a part of it when not being a part of it and really see kind of every process of it. I think it was cool for the general public to see that and our members to see that kind of in action. I think it was the times when it was like a little trying was Kai would have something half done and then it would go on the internet and you'd be like, well, that's not what it's going to look like. Don't post that, So, just stuff like that. But in the end, obviously, it's all fine and the finished product comes out. But yeah, I don't think there was any added pressure. I think it was just cool for people to kind of see what really goes into building the golf course. It's not like glitz and glamour. It's just a lot of like hard work and a lot of mud and sweat.
What advice would you give to superintendents who might be taking on a new build or a big construction project like this?
Do your homework. Just talk to like as many people as you can. This area has boomed in golf, from us to Old Barnwell, 21 Club, Broom's Edge, talk to a lot of these guys. And I think the more you can bounce ideas off people like that inspired a lot of the things that we did here was just talking to people that had done it, had been in that situation and how they faced different challenges. So I think just getting a good network of peers that have done these things, I'm not calling Phil about Bermuda grass questions, but definitely called him during construction about things. And yeah, I think it's just talking to people and building a network of people that have done, similar style projects.
We are back with another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring PhD agronomist Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. Our question today comes in from Jeff Lapp. What is the best way of controlling and maybe even preventing a European chafer invasion?
Well, starters, thanks for the great question, Jeff. That's always a really challenging one. So we'll dive into that in a moment. And Adam, again, thank you guys for having me on to the podcast. So if I'm looking again at European chafer grubs, obviously a major cause of turf damage, especially when we're looking at those late summer months. And again, I think when I talk about pretty much any insecticide and really any issue that you be dealing with, whether it's pests or disease, right? It's all about monitoring and making sure that you're getting out there and timing your applications properly to get the best control. So when you're looking at European chafer, especially, you got to watch for those adult beetles that start emerging right in that late spring to early summertime. And, they're out there and the mood is right and the insects start copulating, which is a, kind of fancy word for, what insects do right before they start laying their eggs. And that's exactly the timing of when you want to get out there, right? Because your best window treatment time is somewhere between 10 and 14 days after that peak adult activity. And that's going to give you that perfect timing when those grubs are still pretty small, but they haven't gotten so large. It's kind of hard to control them with some of the active ingredient options we have out there. So keep an eye out for early signs of damage, especially in that late summertime, like wilting, or again, if you can pull that turf up really easily, that's going to be, a sign of active damage going on from those chafer grubs right there. And again, there's a lot of products out there on the market, but for especially current and active damage, we're always looking for something that's going to give you that, real quick knockdown, if you will. So we have a product called Duocide, for instance, here at the Andersons. It's a combination of carbaryl, which is going to give you that fast grub knockdown, stop any damage that's occurring right then. And then also you're, coupling that with an application of bifenthrin, which is just unique and nice because then you're able to kind of get those other surface insects that potentially are feeding during that time. If you've already done a surface application and you just specifically really want to go after a rescue application for grubs, we also offer, carbaryl in a 7% form. And again, there's some other options out there on the market as well if you're looking for liquid or, liquid applied products. So again, I think, apply right after that egg lay, after you first see damage. Make sure you water it in really well to the product in the soil. Those are, a couple just small tips for application success. And then I think, finally, really to get back at the heart of the question is, how can you make sure you're preparing for that damage ahead of time in the following year? Just, make sure you're following good cultural practices like deep watering. That's going to help to make sure, these grubs love to kind of accumulate where it's moist, and especially up in those upper levels of the roots where it feeds. So if you're really getting that water deep in the soil profile, it's going to help to not make them want to hang out so much in those areas. And then reducing that thatch, right? Thatch is probably the biggest impediment that I see as an agronomist when we, put down ample amounts of active ingredient to control grubs, but then we see breakthrough, which is pretty common. It almost always ties back to some amount of thatch buildup, right? And the insecticide's just getting hung up in the layer where it's not going to be able to be effective in, taking care of that grub population that you're targeting. So make sure you're trying to get that thatch reduced where you can and get those insecticide applications out and, monitor. Those would be the big things that I think I would hit on to make sure you're staying ahead of those European chafers.
Fantastic advice. I know those things can be a problem, and yes, stay on them. Thank you so much for this, Tony. This wraps up another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring Dr. Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. And just wanted to say, if you want to get a question in, you can reach out to us or somebody from the Andersons to be able to get on the show. And if you haven't figured it out yet, Tony is not messing around. So send in some good questions so we can help people out.
Awesome.
So how much of what you've built there at Tree Farm from a culture standpoint comes from your experience, whether it be with Jason or Phil or Terry or any of those guys?
Yeah, I think it's real similar. My takeaway from like working for a guy like Phil and that type of organization is like it's just all about the team and the camaraderie. And I feel like we really have that same vibe here. Like I just got a text from one of my guys who's about to go to Rutgers. He came here a couple months ago and never worked on a golf course. So he's out boxing in heads with a 648 on 75 acres right now. Like this kid's grinding. And he's talking about going meeting his buddies and then he's going to go to dinner with them. And he said he might have to leave early. I said, that's fine. Then he texted me, he said, I'm going to stay. Can't leave the boys hanging. And it's like, that's cool because this kid's like really bought into what we're doing. And like, he just likes being here with the people. it's not like he probably loves sweating in 95 degrees and boxing and sprinkler hat. All about the team, all about working with these guys that are all great guys. Like that's the cool culture that you want to build. And we have a bunch of those guys here, which is awesome.
I love when guys talk about their culture and all the fun they get to have. You guys ever get into anything exciting? You guys do Friday lunches or go out as a staff or anything like that?
Yeah, we'll try and go out every once in a while. Yeah, we're gonna do a dinner when Jack leaves here in a couple weeks. And at the end of the year, we did a club-wide event at the Augusta Green Jackets minor league game, which was really cool. Kind of posted up in right field and had some food and drinks and stuff. So, yeah, we try and do some fun stuff like that.
They're called the Augusta Green Jackets?
Right?
What a name. That's
It is, I
sick.
mean, it's an epic name. Yeah, it's like a hornet, just green, or like yellow
Oh,
jacket
okay.
that's green.
That's
Pretty
money.
awesome.
That's money.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you talked about going around and kind of being a part of that network. How important is it for you? I ran into you at Oakland Hills and seen you at Muirfield in your younger days. How important is it for you to get around there and see those other things? I mean, it sounds like something you started early on and are continuing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's super important. If you want to work at a level like this, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people that have worked at that level and understand what it takes. So, kind of what I said before, positioning myself to end up getting a job like this was important, but surrounding myself with people that are kind of have that same mentality. That's why it's getting a mentor is always great, but you're almost mentored more by the other individuals around you that think the same way as yourself. It's like I tell my guys, like, I'm not always going to be the guy there teaching you something. I might be busy or doing something, but I can tell you I have 3 or 4 other guys here that are going to tell you the same thing that I would tell you, and they're going to teach you the same thing. It was the same thing with Phil, working alongside, Chewy. It was like, thinks the same way as me and Phil. And, we probably learned a million things from just one another. And like that friendly competition of like, I wanted to be better on the North course than they were on the South. And we wanted to finish before them. And yeah, it's just you want to surround yourself with people that are the same as you.
All right, so this might be a good time to go back and talk about this. People you worked with when you first got to the tree farm, you mentioned in the questionnaire there were some exciting individuals. Do you want to dig into that a little bit?
Yeah, we had how would I describe it? That might not be the right word to use for them. Uh, yeah. Well, yeah. So their names were Cooter, not real names. These are not their parent
This
given names.
it wasn't what was on their employment documentation.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Cooter, Bo Diddley, Skibo, and Cookie. Yeah, and these were the clearing
So
and
good.
grubbing boys. I mean, that's about as southern as it gets right
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah, so these guys were exactly what you would think. Group of good old boys, just it was like, you know, funny, but at the same time, like there comes a point when like the funny stops and you're like, all right, we got to get some stuff done, boys. Uh, so yeah, they were digging out stumps and yeah, making messes. So Bo Diddley, uh, I still laugh when I think about this. He had gotten in an accident at one point younger in life, so he's in a wheelchair. And they, for some reason, thought it was genius. He was going to be the guy that would fill up all the equipment with diesel. So this guy would drive around in a Ford Ranger with a fuel tank, crawl out of the truck, like literally, the guy's upper body strength was out of control. And he'd climb up the ladder of these excavators and bulldozers and fuel them up. It's like you couldn't make this stuff up. I was like,
Oh my God.
and I'm the only employee here, and I'm like, is this real life? Like every day, this is what I come into work and see.
Did any of
So,
those guys hang around when it was all done?
no, yeah, it was, yeah, there was a falling out near the end. So yeah, no, they weren't welcome back.
Bo fell off one of the trucks.
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, that's all time. Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't hear it, but there was a little flash of lightning that just went by there. We're going to do the lightning round today, powered by Flash Weather AI. Your heads up before the skies light up, and download their new app today. Quick answers from you here, Nick.
Okay.
Walk mow or ride mow?
Walkmo.
Most satisfying job on the golf course?
Cutting cups.
How long can you go without checking moisture levels?
2 days.
One turf tool you cannot live without?
Sprayer.
Best weather for mowing, crisp fall morning or a hot summer sunrise?
Crisp ball morning.
Nice. First job you ever had, not in turf?
Uh, Bad groceries at Giant Eagle.
Nice. Best concert you've ever been to?
God, I'm not a concert guy. I went to a Wiz Khalifa concert in Pittsburgh, which was pretty awesome.
Ooh, that would have been good. That would have been
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
Favorite way to unwind after a long day on the course?
I like to work out after work, kind of relax my brain.
What's your walk-up song if you get introduced at a GCSAA national conference?
Or a Savannah
Uh,
Bananas baseball game.
Yeah.
My guys were joking the other day about playing a walk-up song in the morning meeting. I said it was going to be John Cena. You can't see me. But
Nice. Nice.
Then they probably threw it at you like, yeah, that's right. We never see you on the golf course. What are you doing?
So that's just a little bit of fun. I figured we'd try something different today and mix it up. And we have a lightning partner, so it, works well.
Perfect. Do you, how much are you checking your weather apps? I'm sure you probably, like most guys, have like 5 of them.
yeah, it was before I walked in here. I saw some clouds. I was like, yeah, it's 1 o'clock. Time to look at the radar. It's like down here in the summertime. It's 1 o'clock. You open the radar because it literally will pop up out of nowhere. Just these humidity thunderstorms.
I was going to say, do you want to change your answer from sprayer to your weather apps?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they work in conjunction most of the time.
that's true. That's true.
So what's on the horizon for you then? Getting through kind of the summer grind, and what's ahead for you?
Summer grind and get dialed back in and get ready to open and take some time off here in the end of August and take a little bit of a breather and then we'll be back at it. So that's the plan right now.
You still play
And
baseball at all, or you get on the golf course and play?
Yeah, I try and play. If I have people down here that I'm hosting or friends in town, will come play out here, try and hit a couple other spots around here. But yeah, I play. Yeah, I'm running it back. I did Scotland last year. I'm doing it again in August. So me and my brother are doing it for the second year now. So that'll be fun.
you
Nice.
guys turning that bachelor party into an annual trip?
Yeah, we might. Yeah, he's just graduated law school, so this is his last hurrah, I think, for taking trips for a while. So we had to get one more in.
What was your favorite course on that trip over there?
I mean, the old course is like, I don't know how you beat the old course, but there's a lot of smaller ones that don't get the publicity. There's a place called Kilspindie up in the East Lothian area. That was one of our favorites. We played it twice. It was so much fun.
That's awesome. Did you see anything on that trip that you thought about and like, oh, that would be pretty cool on our golf course?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of there. I took a ton of pictures of some. We've got a lot of like ditches. A lot of our stuff's kind of a mixture of sand hills and heathland, more English style golf. So, but the Scottish links, there's a lot of comparisons. So yeah, I took a bunch of pictures, some things, and it was cool. We start with a par three at the tree farm, which is crazy. No one has a starter opener par three, and Kilspindie, the first hole is a par three too. So that was awesome. It was the only other course I've ever seen that starts with a par three on one. It might be another reason it's one of my favorites we played over there.
I don't hate that though. You don't have to do a full
Oh, yeah.
driver off the first tee by the clubhouse.
Yeah.
It's kind of
As
nice.
long as it's
Yeah.
not like a 220 par three, it's like it'd be nice if it's a short hole.
Yeah, that's what I always tell guys on our range. I'm like, hit your 6 and 7 iron. You're gonna need it as your first shot of the day.
I love it. Well, this has been awesome. I don't know, Adam, unless you got anything else. Nick, we'll kind of turn the floor over to you if there's anything you want to talk about.
I just want to say thanks for having me, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
You're doing good. Have you made the rounds on any of these podcasts yet? I know when we did the interview, what was it last year? You said it was your first time doing a camera interview. So are you getting accustomed to this stuff now?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it now. Yeah, I did Tyler's. I owe Tim Krieger one on pulling weeds too. He's been.
Nice.
I told him I owed you one first. You asked me during construction, but if you would have caught me during construction, it would have been there would have been a different vibe on this podcast. It might
I
have
was,
been angry, Nick.
yeah, I was gonna say I remember talking to you back a couple of years ago. You're like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for you. So glad we were
Yeah.
able to make it happen.
Yeah, no, happy to be here. I love listening to these podcasts. It's always a lot of fun. I got to catch up and listen to Scott's, the last one that came out. So, yeah, I really appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. This has been
anytime.
great, Nick. We really appreciate you giving us some time and telling us about your property and your career. It's been awesome.
How do you think Chewy would do on one of these?
Yeah, I'd kill it, of course.
You think so?
Yeah.
He hates public speaking.
Yeah,
Hates
I know.
public speaking.
I know he does. Well, if you
I'm sure we
talk,
know.
you just talk about yourself. No one knows you better than you. So, yeah, he'd be fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we could get him loosened up. That'd
We,
be
we
fun.
got to go. We got to go visit him. You got to go see his. You've been to his place,
I've been
right?
to it. It's cool. I
So
told him
good.
I almost didn't make it because the drive up was just so nice. I almost just kept going. Like, this is amazing, man.
I know. Once you see the water, you're like, I'm out of here. I ain't going to the golf course. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going. I'm
exactly.
going to the friggin' marina over there.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful spot. Well, one of these days I'm going to get down there. So maybe this fall, try and sneak down there and check the place out. And sounds like there's a bunch of other things going on in the area. You guys are kind of like the golf mecca of America right now.
Yeah, golf construction mecca, and yeah, Florida and Aiken, South Carolina.
That's
Yep.
crazy. It's crazy. Something in the soil. I love it. Love
Yep.
it. Cool. All right, man. Well, hey, appreciate your time, and we'll catch up again here soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All
Thanks a lot,
right.
Nick. It was
Thank
good
you,
meeting you.
Nick.
See ya.
See you, man.
Every great course starts with what's beneath your feet. At the Andersons, they know turf isn't just grass, it's a canvas. Their fertilizers, soil enhancers, and precision technologies are built for those who demand more from every acre. Because every blade matters, every detail counts, and excellence doesn't happen by chance. Follow the Andersons today on Instagram at Andersons Pro.
That was a great one. Nick's a solid guy.
Yeah.
Does a great job. Got a great place down there. I can't wait to go see it. So, yeah, he's doing some really good things.
It's cool because you take a superintendent's job. It takes you a couple of years to actually learn the course. He did a couple of years of building the course. So now it's like you know where everything is, you know how everything works, and like you said, they're just fixing stuff as they go, or refinishing things as they go. So
Yeah,
that's kind of a great position to be in as a superintendent.
yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Yeah, know where everything is. I mean, even guys that are doing these big renovations, you're learning a new golf course, once you get done, and there's always going to be tweaks after the fact,
Hmm.
whether it's something as simple as settling, or it's like, okay, well, we did this and we should probably move it over here based on what we're seeing. There's, once construction companies, their contractors leave, that's not the end of it. It's an ongoing battle trying to get everything just right.
So was the idea for this course to just kind of be like a show up, pay, play golf, nothing else? Like it's just a kind of a minimalist sort of place?
It's very much a minimalist kind of place. It's show up. Yeah. I mean, it's a golfer's haven, right? I mean, it's a bunch of golf sickos, like we kind of talked about. Zach's got this massive golf sicko following on there. I mean, he's been tweeting and posting on Instagram about golf course architecture and his favorite types of holes. And he's thrown out sketches when he was talking about doing the Buck Club and things like that. So he got a big backing. And then when an opportunity kind of came about, he just had this vision for a great day on the golf course.
Hmm.
You show up, you're going to play a great golf course, spend time with your friends, you stay on property. You don't ever have to leave. You come, you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner on property, and just go out and enjoy this amazing property. So, yeah, I mean, that's as far as I know, always been his vision, is just to build a great golf course somewhere that is solely focused on golf.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Need more
Yeah.
of that because sometimes
Yeah.
it can be kind of crazy. Although, you know, if you're part of a family and everybody can benefit from a country club, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool too. But having a spot that's just golf, that's
Oh,
awesome.
100%. Yeah, I think a lot of the new builds, the majority of the new builds that you're seeing are those destination type golf places, right? Where it's lodging, whether it's a super exclusive, like a lot of these, some of these new builds are, or like the Kaiser family with Dream Golf, where they're building just, the Bandon Dunes style properties where it's a golf resort. They just have golf. You come
Mhm.
there with a buddy's trip as a buddy's trip, and you stay there, you play golf there, you eat there, you drink there. It's just everything right there on property.
What more could you
It's
want,
it's the
really?
best. Yeah. Wish I had some cash to build one of those somewhere. It'd be great.
Yeah, maybe one
Yeah,
day
if
you
any
get
of our
in on their
listeners
project.
have millions and millions of dollars just sitting there burning a hole in their pocket,
Yeah,
go ahead and let us know.
could be the
We
official golf course of the Superintendent Network,
yep, that's
right?
right. Yep, 100%. We record Turf Today from there every week, and
Yeah,
100%. It'd be
fly our
great.
guests in, do it
That's
all
right.
live.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be like the Sean Ryan show. We just
Yeah,
have everyone in our studio at our own golf course and everything. It'd be great.
yeah, and then
Be
get them
great.
on the course and beat them, take
Yeah,
their
that's
money.
right.
Yeah, it'll
Pipe
be fun.
dreams.
Pipe
Pipe
dreams.
dreams.
Hey, we're
That's
young.
right. Yeah, we'd build it just like Jordan did, right? He'd build it to your.
Exactly.
It's right. The Grove's built specifically for his game to win on the last three holes.
Hmm.
That's what ours would be,
That's what it would
which
be
means
like.
it's
Yeah.
a putt course then
Yeah,
for the last three
exactly.
holes. This is a 20-yard putt,
Oh, man, I miss that putting green at the park.
right?
Like,
It's so fun.
I miss that place. I know I've been to a lot of putting greens, but that one, I miss it. It
Yeah.
might have been the drinks they were bottling right there on the spot, but
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that message you sent me with from what do they call it? The cabana?
yeah, the Cabana,
Can't
yeah.
remember. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bottling their own drinks. It's so cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's another cool trend. Definitely seeing a lot more putting courses out there as well. So, but not as many of them that are as accessible as the park, just being literally a municipal golf course. Anyone can just come out and putt. It's great.
It's such a cool business model. Just have a big
Yep.
bar with TVs and stuff, and then just a
Yep.
big putting green. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like Fields Ranch has a really cool one that's basically built for the community. It's like a 2-acre putting green.
wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. And then right there, they've got a lawn with a massive jumbotron, and I think they show movies out there on like
Sweet.
Saturday nights. And I don't know if they do football games and stuff, but they should. But yeah, just a really cool gathering spot.
Yeah. Have meetings there. You can hang out there with the
Yep,
family, have a nice little competition for a couple bucks. Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah. We got to start planning. We got to figure out if we're going to do another winter trip down to Fort Lauderdale, make a return visit to the
Yeah.
park.
Don't see why not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The wife and I were thinking about doing Fort Lauderdale, but we opted for Key West. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. It was between spending 3 days down there at the Elbow Room or bounce around between all the different spots in Key West. So we opted for Key West,
Nice. You'll be back.
knowing
Okay.
full well that we'll probably be back to Fort Lauderdale again in the winter. So
Yeah. Well, when's
yeah.
Jerry making the trip down? We gotta.
We got to coordinate. We'll have to shoot him a text and see when he's coming back. That could be fun.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, yeah,
I had years of traveling with hockey, and
yeah. You did.
I'm sick of it. Like,
Yeah.
I've moved on. But when you have to travel, you have
Yeah.
to travel. But like you,
That's it.
when you talk
Yeah.
about being like here and there, and then I'm in a hotel and I'm doing this, I'm just like, oh, the
Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah, I was
Over
gonna
that
say bring
airplane.
some flashbacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not breaking down on the bus right on the side of the
Yeah.
highway though.
No, no, no. Yeah, the worst I have is a canceled flight and have to sleep in an airport. That's
Oh
not the
my
end of the
gosh.
world.
That's wild. We had some bad ones. I remember one time having to get to another bus that was like at a truck stop off the exit, and we hadn't gotten off the highway yet. So we had all of our stuff packed up, and we're literally walking with everything to get like off the off ramp. People are just flying by and honking their horns.
Oh, the
And
luxury
I'm
of
like,
minor
why are
league
we doing
hockey.
this? We can't be doing this. And they're like, you have to. Like, the bus is up there. The game's in 45 minutes. We got to go.
And it couldn't flip around and come meet you guys.
Just the way it all worked out. There was another time we got the bus working again because one of our guys was like had some mechanical background, and we were through you could access like the engine and like the back part of the bus through where we were sitting. So he's got the grate down and he's trying to fix things, and he's Ace, pass me a bottle of water. So I give him a bottle of water, he pours it on the thing. Bussy, turn the bus on. Bus turns on, starts moving, and then it dies again. He grabs a bottle of water and pours it on. Okay, it works. So we're like trailing bottles of water from the front because that's where all the cases are in the kitchen. We're moving them all the way back. Guys are passing one by one. He's just and the bus is just hopping down the highway.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
that's awesome. Could write
we
a
got
book.
there. We always got there.
Awesome. All
Yeah,
right,
buddy.
man, we'll catch you later.
Okay, have a good
All
weekend.
right. You too. See ya.
Yeah. And everything is alright. Jogger. And JC. Let's go. Yeah.
Whoa, before we let you go, we got to thank Nick Roth for his time today. It was fantastic getting to talk to him. We have to thank our sponsors for all of the help they give us. And for you guys, thank you so much for moving the show around and helping us grow the future of golf course maintenance. We will be back next week with another good one. Keep your reels sharp. Hit up turftodayshop.com for all of your merchandise. And let's get you back to that beat.
Citywide news when I blow the ozone. I leave my mark, yeah, I'm logo loco. Got no style, I'm a polo dodo. These women want rings, but I don't know Frodo. Wake up, sit down, I ain't going to work. If I go get drowned, I'ma go in a hearse. If I don't get found, I'ma go in reverse. I could've sold this out while I was throwing the bird. So don't throw no shade when I park the Gotti. See 3 white girls trying to spark the Bobby. I be rustled in the paint, boy, it's hard to stop me. Are you a remix or a carbon copy? Like T-Town and we partying hard now. We used to use fakes, but we buy in the bar now. 2020, I'll be up and flying the car down. My eyes roll back, what you trying to start now?
Riding round the town tonight. We feeling good, we feeling right. Do we chase the thrill, live the light? Will we stay out till the sun don't shine?
Man, this shit ain't working out, but I'm keeping my chin up. But jogger never fall, I don't even fall in love. No, I ain't complaining, that's when everyone give up. The only shot I ever see you making is bitch cup. Oh, damn, who's that dude? Everybody told me trying to do this was a bad move. I've been learning more than I would ever in a classroom. Miracle in nature, all my dogs eating cat food. Holidays, they don't feel like holidays. And I got a little money, but I got a lot of plays. I don't need to ride a wheel, I got a will to dominate. Put it on my Mickey Mantle, I'll be in a Hall of Fame. Took about 3 L's, but I live life large. Send a man up to the moon, you can't touch my stars. Everybody want clothes and like all nice cars, but I ain't sitting on a fence, I want the whole 9 yards.
Riding round the town tonight. We feeling good, we feeling right. Do we chase the thrill, live the light? Will we stay out till the sun don't shine? And the lights start flashing, we go crazy. Cameras, action, it's our day. See, life's attraction, it's JNT. Summer's back and it's us, baby. We riding round the town tonight. We feel